Audience, welcome to Viewpoint from Overseas. This is your host, Misbah Azam. Unlike regular days, I do not have my other colleague sitting with me. As you all know, this is the holiday season. Most of the people are busy celebrating their holidays. I try to get some experts today to join me and help me understanding certain issues of 2017 going just about to finish. However, the same problem came. Everybody was celebrating their holidays and they were all around. Some people are busy with their New Year's parties and Christmas and Hanukkah and other stuff. So nobody was available for us to talk to. However, I'm here and I will be talking just briefly some of the important incidents, and we have to see how in coming days in 2018 how those incidents which were initiated or which were continuing in last year, even 2017, will end up in 2018. Would it be a little bit better year or not than 2017, or worse year than 2017, as a lot of people think about. Before going over all those incidents and events, if you will, I would like to just remind you, this year for Talk for Pak, Viewpoint from Overseas has a lot of things happened there. First of all, we started from last year, actually by end of 2016, we had 2 shows under Talk for Pak. Once Viewpoint from Overseas we started doing in English, and the other show we started, which is Azad Labon Ke Saath, that is in Urdu show, which is like a smaller show than Viewpoint from Overseas, less detailed. We take 1 or 2 points, very specific to Pakistan. However, in Viewpoint from Overseas, we try to cover most of the happenings in the world, anywhere in the world, which includes all sorts of different areas other than politics and economy. We had some very good people we took in Viewpoint from Overseas. In March 2017, we had an opportunity to interview Mr. Jared Taylor. He is the white supremacist leader, and we had a very nice conversation with him. Most of you may have seen it. It is still found in our talkforpak.com. After that, we had a very nice conversation with Dr. Mueed Yusuf. Dr. Mueed Yusuf is one of the public intellectual. He is American, Pakistani, and or you can say Pakistani American, whichever way you want to say. And he gave us a very nice picture of overall geodynamics of the South Asian politics, and a little bit he touched American politics as well. Then we also invited Mr. Zahid Hussain, another prominent intellectual, Pakistan-based intellectual who has a very strong command on the international politics, Pakistan politics, and of course the history. He has published books also. Then just towards the end of the year, we had an opportunity to have Mr. Farrukh Pitafi. He is a public intellectual, and he is also a Pakistani-based journalist who is nowadays working with Pakistan Television Center. So we had things covered in this year, and coming year we are trying to have more people like Farrukh, like Mueed, like Mr. Taylor, expertise of different areas. So ladies and gentlemen, let us briefly go over what really happened. The year started, the first big event of the 2017 was President Donald Trump's inauguration when he was President of United States. And if we see it all over the years, so far most of the stuff, what he said, he is on it, and he is doing it. Just like he has cancelled US participation in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He withdrew the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement. He refused to certify that Iran is in compliance with the nuclear obligations, recognized Jerusalem as a capital of Israel. I mean, that was a big shift from the 70-year US policy. Although in late 90s there was a vote in Senate which approves this move to accept Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. However, in the same bill, President was allowed to certify after every 6 months if he is continuing with the status quo or he's going to change. And so far, all the presidents of United States certified that for the time being, we will not be accepting Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Actually, the reason a lot of experts believe was to keep some leverage over Israel. US wanted to have some leverage over Israel, and a lot of experts believe that after this move of President Trump, this leverage has all gone away, and now US doesn't have any specific leverage, and Israel has no incentive there to have a peace other than what, as Prime Minister Netanyahu says, that Israel wants peace, and although he says right, but how much he believes, we have yet to see. However, there are some other pledges he made he did not fulfill, and he tried not to fulfill, and he went against that. The biggest thing was his Afghan policy. Before the elections, he pledged that he doesn't want to get involved inside Afghanistan. However, he did it totally other way around. He approved the surge over there, and he wanted to send more troops over there. So this is one thing where he backed off. Then he hasn't declared China a currency manipulator. He did not kick NAFTA to the curb also. I mean, these are the things which he pledged, but he, as we saw, he did not do that. Although he strengthened his war against the WTO, his demand for revamped NAFTA looked to be unacceptable by Canada and Mexico, and we have yet to see in coming days how he is going to move his agenda. Especially his most important goal is to keep the Afghanistan stabilized, at least what he claims to be, and for that he is sending the troops over there, and we have yet to see in 2018 how he moved. He has a very aggressive posture towards Pakistan, and during his Afghan policy, he only talked about the coercion and forcing other countries around to fulfill his demands. However, the world doesn't work the way it used to work before. A lot of countries, they have their specific interests, and they can only do enough to satisfy the superpowers' demands. And due to the growth of China and Russia, US leverage is slowly going down from those countries. Pakistan is one of the countries. Of course, the US has a lot of leverage as far as the IMF is concerned, as far as other international financial institutes are concerned. However, there are some leverages which the States used to have, which we used to have it over Pakistan. We are losing it over the time because of the growth of other powers, other poles inside the globe, especially towards the east. One is China with a deep pocket actually. Other is Russia, which not deep pocket but a huge military power. And 2018 is very interesting to see how these things end up. Another very important development last year was President Xi Jinping's extraordinary elevation. One of his biggest success came in October 2017 during the 19th Chinese Communist Party Congress. In some experts' view, it was not simply Communist Party Congress. It was almost a coronation. She was named Party Secretary General for next 5 years. Not only that, also there was no other successor was chosen for President Xi. He was named as a core leader, and this title, this core leader title, was denied to his predecessor, President Hu Jintao. The Congress also wrote Xi Jinping's thought in the party's constitution, and that was there were only two Chinese leaders whose thoughts were written in the constitution. One was Mao Zedong, and the other one Deng Xiaoping. So it was a big thing for President Xi Jinping. According to Dr. Graham Allison's famous book, the Chinese system is such that the party always try to select a meek and quiet president, so that president will not be a dominant factor and making decisions unilaterally. However, in President Xi Jinping, there is a different case. Another important event was the defiance of North Korea. North Korea had their 6th nuclear test in 2017. And within 3 months, they claim to have the capability to hit the cities inside United States with their nuclear missiles. And this is a really dangerous scenario. Unfortunately, the US administration once again dealt the situation with a coercive dialogues, calling North Korean leader as a rocket man and threatening them of fire and fury, and these kind of tweets coming from the leader of the free world, which is very unfortunate in this case. And most of the diplomacy is over, and North Korea is keep on moving and threatening the whole world and Japan and countries around North Korea, and there is virtually nothing can be done, it seems, other than going to war, which as happened in the Korean War, which is in 1950, just a year after the revolution. China would not allow to have any kind of war there, any kind of Western incursion in the North Korea. They don't want US to be sitting in the borders of the Yellow River. China helped the world by not opposing the resolution, sanction resolution against North Korea. They did not veto the Security Council resolution which put sanctions on, strict sanction actually, I must say, on North Korea. So coming days will be interesting to see how things will come up in this stage. Then in Saudi Arabia, a US ally, old US ally, however, considered to have a main factory supplier of the terrorists all over the world, this Al-Qaeda type of terrorism, which is being common all over the world. In 9/11, out of 19 terrorists, most of them were Saudi citizens, and Osama bin Laden himself used to be a Saudi citizen and related to the big families over there. Now the new heir, who was made heir by his father, King Salman, in June 2017, after removing his cousin Mohammed bin Nayef. Mohammed bin Salman, most of the people call him MBS, so let's keep calling him MBS. he tried to introduce the new reforms in Saudi Arabia to see the post-oil future of the Saudi Arabia, that how Saudi Arabia will look like after the oil prices will go low enough so that oil will not be the main power of controlling the world's economies. What he did, he had a vision 2030 for Saudi Arabia, and he started working on it. So for that, in November, he had 11 of his cousins arrested on the corruption charges. President Trump applauded that move. MBS is not only looking into the Saudi reforms, he is looking into the whole region. He has a lot of issues with growing Iranian influence in the region, especially on Iraq and all other countries, Eastern Saudi Arabia and all, which is oil-rich area. Not only that, he is responsible of 2015 intervention in Yemen and Saudi-led embargo on Qatar. Some experts think that MBS is Saudi Arabia's best chance to modernize and moderate its future. However, this is something we have yet to see in coming years and coming days. Is he really going towards the full-fledged democratic Saudi Arabia where women can work without putting on veils on their face? They will be allowed to go different other places without the company of a man. We have yet to see that people of Saudis will have a right to vote, to select their government. But these are far-fetched. I respectfully disagree with those who believe that Saudi Arabia that Mr. MBS is going to create a new Saudi Arabia and everything will be very nice and moderate. But of course, only time will tell. I was right, or those experts who talk about it are right. The fall of Mousal. This was also an interesting event. In 2014 actually, the ISIS took over Mousal, and Mousal is the second largest city in Iraq. And within months, ISIS went there, took it over, and within months they declared the caliphate over there. From October 2016, French, Britain, US and Iraqi forces are engaged in fighting with them. And in 2017, after a 3-year-long occupation, the city was finally liberated. But that doesn't mean Iraq's problems are resolved. Iraq has other problems going on. Now the Iraqi army is engaged in a fight with the Kurds, because Kurds have declared that they voted for the freedom. And of course, coming year 2018, we have to see it, how it will end up eventually. And Iraqi army is engaged in a fight with them, and there are other issues inside Iraq. We don't see too many hopes over there that coming days, within next couple of months or the coming year 2018 will bring our everlasting peace in Iraq and everlasting democracy in Iraq. That's not going to happen, at least it seems at this time. However, the world politics changes sometime overnight, and we don't know how it happens, but it does happen. Now let us talk a little bit about Pakistan and India and that area specifically. One thing happened this year was Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Mian Nawaz Sharif, who was the ex-Prime Minister now, used to be a Prime Minister early 2017. The verdict on the Panama leak, on the Panama Papers, came out on 28th of July, and he was disqualified. Then there was another petition against Mr. Imran Khan, and which is the top opposition leader, and one of his big financer, Mr. Jahangir Tareen. So Mr. Jahangir Tareen was also found guilty and disqualified participating in the elections. Now there are some NAB cases against Mr. Sharif and his family, and those are going on, and Supreme Court gave 6 months, and we have yet to see what will happen. 2018 is the election year also. In March there is a Senate election, which is the upper house, and in the end of the year, towards July-August time frame, there will be a general election. So we will have yet to see what would happen over there. Then there are terrorism incident. February there were 3 incidents. One is on February 13, a suicide bomb exploded near Charing Cross in front of the Punjab Assembly, where 13 people were killed. Suicide bomber exploded near the shrine of Lal Shahbaz Qalandar in Sehwan Sharif. He was a mystic leader for a lot of people in Pakistan. 70 people were killed there. Among the deads were a lot of children and women. 150 left wounded in that. In the month of February, another incident happened. Another bomb blast took lives of 10 people near the busiest commercial area in Lahore. Balochistan, Mastung, there was a suicide bomber killing 25 people. Then terrorists targeted Fatehpur Shrine in Jhalmaksi, claiming lives of 19 people. And later on there were like 20 people were found dead in that. Then 15 bullet-ridden bodies were recovered in Turbat, Balochistan. Here in US, in Las Vegas, there are 58 people were killed, over 500 injured when a gunman opened fire on the concert. Also in Turkey, a nightclub was attacked in January 2017. Then there was in Egypt's Sinai Mosque was attacked with a bomb and a gun attack, killing more than 300 people. Out of them, 27 were the children. So these are the terrorism incident. Some precious lives were lost. The natural disasters claimed the lives around the world, and in 2017, near the border of Iran and Iraq, more than 400 people died with an earthquake of 7.3 on the Richter scale. So that was another one. Between India and Pakistan, Pakistan allowed Mr. Kulbhushan Yadav, who was an spy, belonged to Indian Naval Services, and he was caught in Balochistan. And Pakistan government allowed his wife and his mother to visit him. And in the same day, there was a cross-border clash over the Kashmir line of control, where 7 Pakistani soldiers were killed. Then deadly fighting erupted in Kashmir when a woman was killed during anti-India protest. Then Mr. Tillerson, the US Secretary of State, at least so far, he criticized China and Pakistan while he endorsed India. Also, Ms. Nikki Haley declared US want India to keep eye on Pakistan, and it was a little bit very inappropriate statement in the if you see in the diplomatic in neither US is the bully of the street nor India is its crony. India has its own interests, and if India, whatever India is doing now to Pakistan, whatever pressure India is doing on Pakistan, is not because US want them to do it. India does not listen what US does it. India does it what is good for India. So as Pakistan does it what is good for Pakistan. Afghanistan is another issue where terrorism is on a growth. drug dealing is on a growth. We are just blaming on the countries like Pakistan and Iran, that all the problems is because of these countries, otherwise everything would be okay. However, still everybody believes, even in the words of US general commanders over there, that close to 40% of Afghanistan is not even in control of the coalition forces over there or in the Afghan government forces. That is going to have another debacle, if I would not use any other word for that, for the US and Pakistan relationship, because now between US and Pakistan relationship is virtually public level. There is no diplomacy on a public level, at least. I mean, internally what is happening, you and I don't know, but of course we will find out. But on the public level, publicly, it is only the gung-ho coercion. You do this, else we are putting notice on you, and Pakistan responding, no, you did not give us aid. All this aid was, most of the part is coalition fund. You were using our free airspace, you are using our bases, and movement of the NATO supplies, all sorts of things like that going on from both sides. 2018 is very interesting to see where all these things end up. So world is changing there, and we have to see in 2018 how things will come up with, how India Pakistan will come together. There are some good things also between India and Pakistan relation, that although Indian media has leaked it, of course it was going on for some time, that Indian and Pakistani national security advisors recently met in Bangkok somewhere, and they have some conversation. Nobody knows what they talk, but it was being released that they were in touch, they were meeting time to time secretly. However, these kind of back channel talk does not do any good. It just helps for some time, but it does not do everything. Keeping it secret does not do good. Pakistan and India come and talk together. However, as long as the US pressure on Pakistan, India would not do that. If India can pressure Pakistan, get US help to get this pressure further increased on Pakistan and resolve the Kashmir issue as a zero-sum game for India, India would do it. So there would be no hope in coming year that if there would be any kind of talks going on between India and Pakistan, if there would be any talk, it would be back channel talk. So ladies and gentlemen, let's see what is happening in 2018. So Happy New Year to all of who are watching our show, and we hope you would be watching in next year also, and I pray for all of you to have a very good year 2018. Also, Merry Christmas to my all Christian friends, and Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish friends. Thank you and good day.